Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bryce, and today I'm going to be talking about a really big topic that's going on right now, and that is T-Mobile vows to match Verizon's coverage in the next 12 months. So basically, John Legere is going around saying to its consumers, or maybe even soon-to-be consumers, that T-Mobile will have Verizon's coverage in the next 12 months, like on par with Verizon or even better than Verizon. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on this later on in the video, but for right now, let's just take a look at a little bit more what the article says. So it says right here, T-Mobile has a sight set on Verizon Wireless. The nation's third largest carrier believes that it'll be able to match Verizon's industry-leading wireless coverage within the next 12 months, and maybe sooner, according to T-Mobile Chief Technology Officer Neville Ray. So let's go down a little bit more and see what it says. Let's see what we can find here. Apparently, it says right here, OpenSignal and Ookla both crowned T-Mobile the fastest wireless network, and OpenSignal said T-Mobile has surpassed AT&T on network availability, just behind Verizon. T-Mobile CEO John Legere Thursday published a blog post highlighting the scores, essentially taking a victory lap. I will also be pointing out my opinions on that later on in the video. Basically, right here, it says, right here, the knock on T-Mobile has been that while it may boast high speeds, its network was only good in the big cities. Go further out and your bars would quickly drop. T-Mobile no longer believes that that's the case. The company said it covers 311 million people with its LTE network. That's a measure of how many people can theoretically get the service, not actual subscribers. So then Verizon commented, and what Verizon said is Verizon dismissed Ray's comments and touted its capital investment in its network. Talk is cheap, and it won't make the nearly 1 million square mile gap in LTE coverage or the stark advantage in reliability and consistent speeds that Verizon's network has over T-Mobile disappear, said a spokesman. Okay, so basically we have that going on. Now, let's talk about a little bit about my opinions right now. And, these are just opinions. You're always more than welcome to post your opinions down in the comments below. But let's just talk about my opinion for right now. And I guess I'm going to start off with T-Mobile has surpassed AT&T on network availability, just behind Verizon. If you look at T-Mobile's coverage map, and you look at AT&T's coverage map, and I suggest you all to do so right now while you're watching this video, you will notice that AT&T has more network coverage than T-Mobile does. And yeah, while a lot of AT&T's towers are still on HSPA+, which is essentially slower than 4G LTE, HSPA Plus can typically pull around about 5 to 8 megabits per second, a lot better than 2G, because there are still some areas where T-Mobile only has 2G. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is the case everywhere, but typically if you look at both voice coverage and both 4G LTE coverage, you will notice that AT&T has a bigger coverage area than T-Mobile does. If you look at T-Mobile's map and you zoom in, you will also notice that 1/3 of their coverage map is roaming, and roaming absolutely sucks, and roaming is not considered T-Mobile coverage. So I do not know where these people are getting the idea that T-Mobile has surpassed AT&T on network availability, just behind Verizon, but I'm pretty sure that is complete BS, because, while T-Mobile has improved, it's still got a long way to go to match AT&T and Verizon's coverage. So, like I said, I don't know where T-Mobile or anyone got their information that was true, but I would suggest anyone who wants to disagree just go look at the coverage maps, because that to me is just complete bullcrap, to say the very least. So that was just my thoughts and opinions on that. Now, let's go to the top right here where it says the nation's third largest carrier believes it will be able to match Verizon's industry-leading wireless coverage within the next 12 months and maybe sooner. I don't buy that. What they mean and what T-Mobile doesn't want to tell its consumers and anybody who's watching or wanting to get T-Mobile is that only means population coverage. That does not include the how do I say it? That's for people who live in their own homes. That is not including the commute from home to work or vice versa, or when you're traveling. That is just population coverage. And I personally don't believe it will happen within the next 12 months, but it may. I told several people this, that if this does happen, what Verizon is going to do is just build out more and more towers to the point where they have every square mile of the United States covered. I already know it because Verizon is number one in terms of coverage, reliability, and consistency. They are not going to let anyone take their spot as number one, especially since Verizon has the money to do anything they want to do. Verizon is within the top 50th wealthiest businesses in the world. They're sure not going to let T-Mobile surpass them in terms of coverage, reliability, and consistency. What I will say about this is that this is population coverage, and I highly doubt that T-Mobile is going to get there, but it may happen. But even still, that's only population coverage. That isn't square mileage coverage. Square mileage coverage is what really counts, because people don't stay in their homes 24/7. They go out on the roads, they do everything, they go shopping. This is not including square mileage coverage. So, like I said, this to me is also BS, especially since John Legere is trying to loophole around telling people it's only population coverage, it's not square mileage coverage. Because if you look at T-Mobile and Verizon's coverage maps, you will notice that Verizon has a lot bigger coverage area than T-Mobile does. And I personally do not believe that T-Mobile is going to get the amount of coverage that Verizon has in terms of square mileage for a long time. We're talking about a good 5 years now. But even still, it may happen. You never know. I personally don't believe it's going to happen. I think John Legere is full of himself and he's just all talk and no doing. But you never know. Only time will tell. I can guarantee you though, Verizon's going to fight back. And more than likely, Verizon is going to win because, like I said, Verizon has a lot more money than T-Mobile does. And with that kind of money that Verizon has, they can do just about anything they want to do. So that's my thoughts and opinion on this article and T-Mobile's claim to have Verizon's coverage in the next 12 months. Tell me your opinion down in the comments below. Anyways, please rate, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys on my next video.